Welcome to Electro Arc. In this presentation we are going to go through the setup and operations of the Model 2SA Electro Arc metal disintegrator. Our 2SA features our general purpose head. The 2SA-T includes autofeed. 2SA-Q has the heavy duty head, and 2SA-QT features autofeed with the heavy duty head. You want to check your inventory against the shipping list. You should receive your column, crossarm, arc head, downfeed assembly, T-nuts to secure the column, power cooling cable, O-rings and splash bags, collets, picks, and electrodes, and your water primer. You'll want to report all damaged goods to the shipping company immediately. It is their responsibility. Assembling your machine, we're going to begin with putting the column crossarm onto the table and securing it with the T-nuts. You'll want to align the base on center of the base casting at the rear of the machine. T-nut assemblies are slid into place and secured. Using an open end or crescent wrench, you'll want to torque these nuts down so that the column is in fact secured to the tabletop. With the column in place, we can rotate the crossarm. Notice the indent in the crossarm. This, you'll want to make sure that it is aligned with the spring-loaded ball on the bottom side. As you rotate the crossarm, you will feel it click into place. This will provide a right angle for the head assembly. This right angle will set up the downfeed so that it is, in fact, perpendicular to the tabletop. To secure the downfeed, slide it on the crossarm. Note the 4 set screws at the rear of this assembly. Using a torpedo level the crossarm so that it is in fact perpendicular to the tabletop. Secure all 4 set screws at this time. Position the crossarm so that the downfeed is at the front of the machine. Next, we're going to put the arc head into the downfeed assembly. This rack and pinion assembly is ground to 0.001 and will provide up and down motion. At the back of the machine, we notice an on-off breaker switch. Put it in the off position. Next, we're going to attach the arcer head to the back of the machine. Use the cord restraint at the rear of the crossarm and plug the arcer head into the reciprocator at the rear of the machine. It is keyed. Slide it in and screw it tight. Your power coolant cable is a special cable. It provides power and coolant. It's hollow cord with a heavy copper lining around the outside of this cable. Again, it does provide disintegrating power to the arcer head. Slide it onto the nipple at the rear of the machine and secure it with an open end wrench. You'll want to check this later for leaks and tighten as required. Slide the power coolant cable through the restraint at the back of the crossarm and attach the other end of the power coolant cable to the nipple on the side of the arcer head. Snug the fitting to the arcer head. Do not over torque this adjustment. Check the plate at the front of the machine for the appropriate voltage incoming to the machine. You'll want to make sure to follow all local and regional codes. You'll want to use only approved UL couplings and circuit breakers with disconnects. Check the three-phase coming into your machine. You'll notice that one leg is higher than the other two. Secure the black lead to the high leg and the white wire to the lower voltage leg. The third wire on your cable will be a grounding cable, which will ground the machine and protect you from any shocks. Flip on the disconnect at this time. Before we start, you'll want to level your machine. You can do this using the lifting legs provided on each corner of the machine. With a torpedo level on the table, you can level from front to back. Next, we're going to put in our coolant. The mixture for the coolant is a 20-to-1 ratio. Use half a bottle to 1 tank of coolant and fill to the appropriate line, typically about 1 inch below the top of the tank. Next, we're going to review the switches on the power supply. First is head, on-off, lighted push button, with a wiper switch 0 to 100 to control the head vibration. Each circuit is protected by a pop-out fuse. Next, coolant pump. This is a lighted push button. Depress that and the light will come on. And we have a low coolant indicator, and this circuit is also protected by a pop-out fuse. Next, disintegration. Turn that on, and with that we control the heat selection of the machine. And last is a push button, master stop, twist lock type, push in to stop, twist to pop out and start. The Arc head has a current monitoring system. We use 3 green, 3 yellow, and 2 red lights to indicate the process. Keep the burn in the green-yellow area. Adjusting the column, we simply unlock the column lock, slide it up to the height we want, and then slide the retainer or stop to that level. This will protect the head from falling. The cross arm will move in and out by releasing the cross arm lock, and releasing the column lock will allow the head to rotate to reach each point on the table. The cross arm has capability of a full 360-degree rotation around the column and around the cross arm. Again, there is a groove in the cross arm with a preloaded ball spring so that you can easily find perpendicular positioning of the head. The downfeed is a rack and pinion assembly. Hold the handles, release the brake lock, and raise and lower the head to the appropriate position. Always lock the head into position so it does not fall and crash. We're going to be taking out a 3/8 top that's been broken off in this aluminum disc. Using the appropriate electrode selected from our heat selector chart, we'll be using an electrode that's half the diameter of the tap size. Moly electrodes come in 6, 9, and 12-inch lengths. Each electrode has a collet. Collets range from 20 thousandths up to 312 thousandths. Collets are stamped so that you can identify them quickly. Remove the brass nut. You want to make sure that the spindle adapter is secured to the spindle of the Arc head. Slide the collet and electrode up into the spindle adapter. Rotate the chuck lock nut assembly onto the spindle adapter and secure it using 2 open-end wrenches. This is important. If you don't do this, the chuck lock brass nut could vibrate off and disintegrate the threads. Next, we're going to put the splash bag on using a 1-inch O-ring supplied with the machine. Slide it up and over the brass nut. Next, the bag will be slipped up over the brass nut as well. Slide the O-ring over the bag down to the groove that's been machined into the brass luck nut. This will secure the bag into place and contain the coolant during the operation. These are special bags and can be ordered from Electro Arc. With the part in place, we're going to want to align the electrode directly above the broken tap to be removed. If you're off a thousandths one way or the other, it really isn't going to matter. Once in position, lower the splash bag. Using our heat selector chart, we're going to be disintegrating a 1/2 inch tap. Use your selector chart to identify or locate the 1/2 inch tap to be removed and move to the right till it'll show you that a 250 electrode will be required and the heat setting is going to be 5 to 6. Now set your heat selector. We're going to start at number 5. Twist the twist lock emergency stop button. Lower the head, touching the top of the tap to be removed, and note the position on your scale. With a formula of 3/8 per every 1 inch, we see that we can calculate the bottom of the broken tap by subtracting 3/4 of an inch of depth and 3/8 of electrode erosion. Set your depth stop. With everything in place, you'll want to raise the head about 1/4 of an inch over the top of the broken tap. Lower the splash shield. I like to use a couple rags on each side, again just to protect the operator and the floor from getting wet. Start the machine. First, head vibration, coolant, and last, disintegration. Release the rack and pinion assembly lock and start to lower the head slowly. Immediately you'll see the disintegrating process start. I'm going to adjust my feed so that I keep the feed in the green and yellow area. Occasionally you might see it go into the red. This is okay as long as it is reduced by going to the green-yellow area. Continue this burn operation until we reach the depth stop. Sometimes you might want to make a witness burn. To do this, I simply start the disintegration process and burn down about 1/16 of an inch. Stop the machine and pull back the covers and look to see if the burn is exactly where you want it. Always keep the process in the green-yellow area. As we're burning, we'll be cutting a hole down to the center of the tap, leaving the threads behind. The electrode will never touch the part, thus not having to worry about the part being burned or the threads being burned as well. Once we reach the bottom, the core will drop out. Stop the machine. Remove the splash bags and rags and lift the head out of position. Using your Electro Arc pick set, you can easily pick out the pieces. The threads will come loose from the walls and the core will be lifted out through the center. Once the debris is out, you can blow it out with an air hose, and if you'd like, you could rerun a tap into the part to clean up the threads. There you have it. In less than 2 minutes, we've taken out a 1/2 inch tap. The arcer head only has one adjustment. At the nose of the arcer head, you'll find a split ring with a socket screw set into it horizontally. Loosen this socket head screw and rotate the split ring clockwise until all motion or movement has been taken out of the spindle shaft. From that point, rotate the split ring 3/4 of an inch or 1/3 of a turn to achieve the 20 thousandths adjustment. At this point, secure the split ring using your Allen wrench and tightening down the socket head screw. By pulling down on the brass nut, you should see a gap between this split ring and the bottom of the nose cone of the arcer head. Again, what we're looking for is 20 thousandths here. This is the only adjustment for the arcer head. We want to thank you for purchasing your Model 2 SA. If you should have any questions, you can reach us at either of our locations in the US or the UK. Thank you again and enjoy your machine.